understand there's nothing in writing.
We're ready.
Yes, of course we will. I don't even go there.
We're on, Mayor Bridge. Next public meeting.
Okay, next public meeting. Yep. Okay, our next public meeting is coming up here. Sorry. Public meeting to consider the amendment of the Town of Minto zoning bylaw number 0186 for the property. Is that the wrong one? That's the same one? Oh, that's the new one. Next one, right?
Next page.
Next page. Oh, that's it. That's it. That was right. Okay. Well, I thought I turned it to the right spot. Where was it? 0186 for property located on part lot 22, concession 1, geographically township of Minto, with municipal address of 401, 411, 417, and 423 Jane Street. I'll act as the chair of the public meeting. I'll call the meeting to order and request any members of the public present to please sign the attendance record book and state the following. If a person or public body does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or make written submissions to the Town of Minto before the bylaw is passed, the person or public body is not entitled to appeal the decision of the Town of Minto to the Ontario Municipal Board, and the persons or public body may not be added as a party to the hearing of the appeal before the board unless, in the opinion of the board, there's reasonable grounds to do so. CEO Clerk White to state the municipal address, legal description of the property, and purpose and effect of the application, the date notice was sent.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. You've mentioned the municipal address, 401, 411, 417, 423 Jane Street, Palmerston. The purpose of the amendment is to allow for limited residential development on the subject lands. These lots have been in existence for over 100 years and are within the agricultural zone. Consideration will be given to what portions may be developed at this time, reducing setbacks to an urban standard and possibly using holding to phase development. The intent is to make more efficient use of the existing lots and to allow for pre-servicing of the lots during the upcoming reconstruction of Jane Streets. Notices were mailed to property owners within 400 feet or 120 meters of the lands and to applicable agencies and posted on site May 13, 2016. Comments were received from the Town of Minto staff. The building official's report is attached. Mark Van Patter, Manager of Planning and Environment, his report is attached. And Brandy Walters, MVCA Environmental Planner, her report is attached. Just by way of summary, the Conservation Authority has identified a flood hazard on the lands. They provided a map of this flood hazard, and they are indicating concern with the amendment proceeding due to the identified floodplain hazard. A letter was received from Christine Roberts. It's short, so I can read this one. In response to the notice regarding proposed amendment to the Town of Minto Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw affecting Part Lot 22, Concession 1, 401, 411, 417, and 423, and proposing to allow residential development, which is currently an agricultural zone. I am writing on behalf of my family who currently own and reside on the property at 422 Jane Street. We are deeply opposed to the proposed plan to allow residential development of the aforementioned property. The agricultural zoning of the subject lands across the street was a large factor in our decision to purchase our property 2 years ago, and the construction of residential buildings will certainly have a significant negative impact on our quality of life and our property value, as it will lead to the destruction of the quiet neighborhood and country view setting of our home. I am requesting notice of the decision that is to be made on Tuesday, June 7th. Thank you for your assistance in this matter. That was received today.
Okay, that's it for me now.
I think it's yes, Chief.
Okay, so now the Town of Minto staff, have we got any building assistance report? And I guess we'll do the same thing. Mark, you want to get up at the same time, and then get Brandon Waters here. They're what? Where's she talking about?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. This one's kind of an unusual one. As I mentioned, 4 lots been in existence since 100 years. I looked at the historical atlas, and there they are, sitting there. If the lands are a bit unusual, that they've got the reserve along the frontage and an easement. If those two things weren't there, then a building permit would have been available throughout that 100 years.
Right.
The the reserve really stops that for now, so they can't get a building permit. This is even before we found out about the floodplain issue. So why don't we, I'm just going to talk for a couple of seconds about before the floodplain issue.
Right.
It's prime agricultural. The barn in the background doesn't matter because our zoning bylaw honors vacant lots, so people can build on vacant lots, even if there's a barn that's too close. So the MDS isn't an issue. It makes some sense to think about splitting those lots with Jane Street being reconstructed, and getting some more density in there. It's kind of a waste if each lot only gets one house. And then the floodway issue, part of the problem with that is that's applicable law, I think, for Terry. So Terry, even if you remove the reserve and sort the easement out, which I understand isn't necessary anymore, Terry can't issue a permit because the floodplain issue is there. So no matter how you cut it, the applicants have to go to the Conservation Authority and sort that out. And they'll have to get a permit. And if they can get a permit from the authority, then I think, the other stuff will fall into place. What we're doing in the zoning really has nothing to do with all that we're doing is controlling where the house goes on the land, saying it's got to be up near the front and over near the side. That's all that we're doing. So nothing really turns on this amendment, but that's probably wise, I guess, to wait until they sort out the Conservation Authority stuff. That's about all I've got.
I just have a question. Is there such a thing as the Conservation Authority figures being wrong?
Or they may be.
I got to tell you, I've born and raised in that area, and 68 years, I've never seen a flood there. Ever. And I'm just, all of a sudden, that's the first time I've ever seen it come into the floodplain. So that's my question.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll get.
And I know
we'll
that's silly to try and answer that right now.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm kind of shocked at the whole Maitland Valley thing myself, but we'll have to look into it, obviously, because.
Yeah. Mark did a great summary of what's going on.
Yeah.
If the zoning is passed the way as proposed, as you mentioned, they would need Conservation Authority approval before before I can issue a permit. So essentially, if we wait or if we pass it now, really, unless Maitland Valley's happy, then nothing's going to happen. So that's really all I have to add.
Well, can we pass it subject to Maitland Valley?
Yeah, I was going to say, can we pass?
So we don't have to come back at it again. That's what I'm thinking. Does that make sense, or am I
really
something?
Doesn't matter. If we pass it now, nothing still can happen.
Well, I understand that,
they're
Terry,
happy.
but then we'd have to bring it back here again. We wouldn't have to bring it back?
If we pass it now,
Yeah.
regardless of hypothetically that 1 foot reserve wasn't there,
yeah,
and they could go ahead and build yesterday,
yeah,
they would still need Maitland Valley
I
approval.
understand. Yeah.
Sure.
So if it's passed tonight, then it wouldn't have to come back, but they still need to go to the Conservation Authority.
I understand that. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. We don't want to delay it here longer and figure out where this flood thing's coming.
Yeah, I might just add that I did talk with Phil Beard yesterday and explained sort of what was happening from the zoning end, that the zoning really wasn't giving him any more development permission. It just was forcing the house over to one side.
Yeah.
That's all the zoning does.
Yeah. So why are they even bringing this up?
Well, I think they're concerned that they don't think there should be no houses there until they sort out the flood issue. In any of those 4 lots.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, guys.
Mayor Bridge, I just wanted to emphasize, I guess we still want to hear from the public, but a solution is to raise the home out of the floodplain. So that is a solution.
Essentially, it's no different than the George Street issue that we talked about before. They're all subject to Maitland Valley's approval. So Maitland Valley sets the elevations, the cut, fill permits, all that stuff. Exactly. So,
how far is it in a hole? We don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't say on that map.
No. Ron?
Have you any thought of how long it's been in the floodplain? Because I've never seen water in Palmerston.
Hurricane Hazel, 1954.
We drove around and looked for it, drive for it. Harrison's in trouble with water. We look for water in our town. We can't find it.
There's no river in our,
We
I
live in
didn't
our
know.
community.
I would
Live in
question,
Harrison.
I think it ponds there, but
I would question the fact that according to what the report said, that's the headwaters, part of the headwaters, the Maitland, but I have no idea where it must be underground. But I've never seen a creek out there. Is there a creek out there? Oh, sorry, Mike?
Actually, making this drain there at the end of Main Street.
Yeah.
And so if water gets up high enough, it'll actually back.
So it's off a municipal drain. So we can go to the municipal drain act and get it fixed.
It's a little bit bigger.
Oh.
It's actually the headwaters down further back.
Yeah, that's what, okay, all right, okay. But it's not right there.
Okay,
That's
that
why.
makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Sure. All right, okay. Anyways, we'll look at, that's fine. We can't do much about it tonight. Okay, where are we on this stuff?
developer.
Oh, developer. A busy night for you there, big guy.
You're gonna sleep well tonight.
You thought politicians had it easy, right? We were up.
How are you?
Okay.
Okay. In regards to these lands, I've spoke with Maitland Valley. I just found out about Maitland Valley on Friday.
Yeah, it's been new.
It was all new to everyone. No one knew it was even there. So I spoke with them, and it's going to require the same requirements that I had down on George Street.
Mhm.
I'm going to have to elevate, do all that. The only requirement yet before we can start was the engineer drawing on the grading plan. Any subdivision has to have a grading plan.
Mhm.
Now that Maitland Valley's involved, the only requirement now is I have to have a water management and grading plan. So it's just the engineer is just going to charge me more for the same thing. So if you go back to the other drawing over there, if you go up there in the spring you do end up
little bit
like
of
you can
water.
tell that's first thing in the spring because there's nothing there. There is a dark spot by the tree,
Mhm.
but that property there is about, I had the laser out and I think it was about 7 or 8 feet below the street at the lowest point. And the catch basin that
Really?
was backing up, it's about 3.5 feet below the lowest point of the road. It actually drops down
Mhm.
into a ditch where there's a culvert. So the minimum home is already going to be up and up
Right.
and up.
To get.
So it's going to be well out of it. So it's not even a concern that
Okay.
way.
That's good.
It's just a matter of getting the proper grades, getting Maitland Valley. Like they know what they need. They just want to see a drawing
Right.
and a water management. So it's just going to require probably a pond in the back corner close to the back properties, which are staying agricultural at this
Mhm.
point. If you have the actual, go back to the other drawing, the only part that's actually getting rezoned at this point.
Uh-oh. Technology.
The one
Who's
that's
running the controls?
Bill,
Some idiot.
not me, because we'd be right out of it by now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that one. So if you look at this project, right now it's 4 lots shown out by the 4 blue lines. That shows the 1 acre lots, which are ready to go. The two problems that we had on this lot was there was an easement, which had an old sewer line that's actually been removed. So that one can be lifted without an issue. The 1 foot retainer is just to make sure it has development approval through the town before you can build on it. That's why the town put the retainer, to make sure they can cover their assets and make sure they get the density that they wanted.
Right.
So by doing that, we're doing the density, and that's what this application is for tonight, is to get that more land density to meet the requirements. And to get the land density, you can't sever agricultural land, so we have to make it residential, make it smaller, get our density. Like I'd love a 1 acre lot, but the town encourages the density. So by doing this,
Policy statements.
so by doing that, we're putting 6 lots across the front, which is going to get more revenue for the town for taxes for 2 more homes being built on there. And you can also service them at the time of doing the road and save the expense of the town. Because doing it after, you'd be destroying a brand new road again.
Right.
And we try not to do that here. The back part, number 7 to 14, plus the existing 3 lots that are on the kind of the southwest of the property, they're going to stay agricultural. So there's still going to be agricultural available for the farmer to farm. It's not an issue there. It's going to stay all the same. And that's where the potential. So one of the lots, wherever the engineer decides, but that's where the water is going to go, and that's where it's going to flow the same as it has before. It's just we have to decide where it's going to go so they can control it.
So 7 to 14 would never be developed. Is that what you're
Never's
saying?
long.
I said never, but
I know
the town
never's
would
a
like to
long
plan
time.
for a
Because
bulb
there's a
down.
laneway goes up to the barn, right?
Yeah.
from on
Yeah.
the other side of that.
If he's sick of farming and wants to develop it, it can
Yeah.
be done. But he's got a few years left in him. I don't think he wants to put a subdivision in his front yard on
Right.
Yeah,
his property.
exactly. Okay.
So we're doing that for future development, so we don't have problems there. So it's going to stay agricultural, so it's still available for him. He can deal with the existing landowner on that right now for that. But right now, all we're trying to do is just get lots 1 to 6 rezoned to residential and apply for the rezoning. Is there any questions?
Gene?
But I'm a little lost here. I'm sorry. Like,
Oh.
maybe I'm dense, but are you purchasing the 6 lots? Are you just
I own them.
rezone?
She owns them. I'm in.
Okay, so
Well, me and my son.
okay.
We own them every
Are
other
we
one
purchasing, or we just
because
rezoning,
yeah.
or okay, so we're just rezoning, but you ideally want to build a house.
I'm gonna
Three.
work and partner with them and build and develop all of them.
Six.
And
All six.
all 6,
Oh,
just
so
the
you are
6.
okay.
And the one there is actually was gonna be my personal home.
So 7 to 14, if they were ever developed, how would we get into them?
That would be a street on the other side, which is part of
Isn't
the.
built yet.
No, it's part of the plan that was the town has for their future. I don't know how you just described it, but you have a long-term plan for the community, and that doesn't hinder that. Yeah, because a couple years ago, we only found that retainer. The surveyor found it. No one knew it was there. She just purchased out her partner to buy the land out, and it wasn't disclosed. So she already has an issue of purchasing this land out without that. So there's a lot of information that wasn't known that's just been brought up, or else it could have been built on immediately, and that was my expectation. So now I'm following procedures, going to the meetings, and trying to comply with what would work best for the town.
Any other questions? No. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll stick around, but right, move back. Anybody in favor of the proposed amendment? Anybody in opposition to the proposed amendment wants to speak?
My name's Dan Wormley. We're the ones with the farm up there.
Right.
I do have, I guess we can go back to the.
You want a drawing up there?
Yeah.
Where's your farm? Is that the right straight ahead?
Yeah, I guess you have that one. The Maitland, they are correct. I'll get over here. They are correct with the water. There's actually a cement pad here. That thing is open. The water goes here.
We'll get you. Sorry, Dan. Just yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, they can't hear you.
Water, we have two.
Could you maybe go to the other one? It's easier for us to see if you go to the other one over there.
Just point.
There we go.
There you
Okay,
go. Sorry.
there we go.
Great. It all comes together eventually.
So there's a cement pad here.
Yep.
And that's where the municipals all come in intertwine.
Okay.
In the spring, the water goes here, and it catches a large portion of it. That's open right now because if it's closed, the water would probably still sit there today. There's also a tile here, a 6-inch tile that has been opened up. It's also opened because when we get a serious amount of rain, it can take the water, or it would also be sitting here. And my biggest thing was always that I don't like driving in the lane and driving past the pond.
Right.
And that is gone today. Also here, there is 2 21-inch pipes taking the water out. There's a 31-inch coming in. There's a 12-inch coming in, and there's also a 12-inch taking this whole water in with field tiles. That's why in the spring, when the flood or the rain, water backs up here and it shoots out on the other side of the lane too. There's a catch basin here. So then we have water here too on our field. Now, I get the lots of here. I'm not trying to stop the lots. I can't do anything with it. But if they're building, there's going to be more grading. There's going to be more water pushed this way. And I'm going to have even more water in my field that I can't get rid of to start with. That's my one concern. My second concern is the barns here. What's our future plan we can do with? Can we still build? Can we put addition on? What's the smell? Are these people going to start complaining about smell? We have 150 sheep. Noise. It's I I don't know what to say about all that, I guess, but that's council's.
Mark, did you, on the setback, I know they've already got houses on this side, right? Can you talk to the setback thing because on the barn, because that was an issue I was thinking about too, but I thought you did say something about it, but.
I'll just maybe point out something here. And you don't have anything to worry about because you're already compromised.
Okay.
Well, you probably don't want to know that, but if you can tell where see the pink boundary, this is the urban boundary of Palmerston here.
Right.
And it goes down here. So all this land is outside of Palmerston. It's part of the, basically prime agriculture. But the part that hurts you is the urban boundary here. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a double MDS distance because the urban use is a category B land use.
Yeah.
So whatever the MDS is to a house, like say a house here, whatever the distance you would have to have for MDS 1, you have to have double for an urban boundary.
Yeah.
So I think you're already compromised. If you know what I mean, like you don't meet the MDS and
The distance.
yeah, already. So because
What if we were to build up there?
It's still the determining factor would be
Is
the
from that point.
pink line, not the houses on any of these lots. The pink line's always going to be your, the part that hurts. Limits you.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
They won't affect it. Oh,
So
I see.
and then you just have to deal with the MDS to get a building permit or get a minor variance. Yeah.
Like having a separate
That's also right. Yeah. I think you're allowed to expand in the A1, but not have a new one. You need to. I think you'd have to get rezoned maybe for that because the use is not permitted, and that's just to keep new barns from starting too close to town.
Yeah.
There's potential of expanding though. You just have to go through a process to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. That's a bigger question.
Mike, I got a question for you on this. Now we're talking. Just mark this.
Mark, hold on.
And just on your point on, and I maybe shouldn't be doing this, but on your point on where the water drainage is, you said that is that a municipal drain there?
There's a municipal drain that actually loops down through, and then I believe it comes up to, I want to say the end of Jane's Mary. No, there's that one, and then doesn't it loop? Yeah, but I think it does have a branch that comes up towards Mary Street there as well.
There's no.
Okay.
Well, grading.
Okay.
They'll have to retain it on this property.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember how we all discussed that earlier there, but it almost seems like it was part of the design when they have the multiple different sizes in there, and it was almost like they put a buffering system in that cement pad that he was referring there to. It just is too much water flow for it to actually exit out into the open ditch downstream.
And I guess, Jeff, you'll have to retain any water you create on your property. Yeah. So they shouldn't. Now I'm just trying to figure out what you got a problem with now, but I don't know where you would go with that.
Well, I think if they set the houses up, though, then the water that's coming out of the cement pad will end up on their property, right?
No, it's all about water in, water out. So whatever the engineer decides for our percentage, this will be held in our percentage.
Yeah, you have to hold your percentage.
It would be held there, so maybe a potential bond for
water management system for the first month of the year. But that would all be contained on this property. It would not affect his. He'd have the same percentage of water on his own. And any water from the town coming into their system is their own. So a water management system, you have to maintain for a certain percentage of hours the precipitation for your property, then it naturally goes to the town. It's just a buffering system to prevent you. So if it was done on Door Street, it actually makes it better. So yours will maintain it, and then it'll give you like 24 hours before it goes into the drain, and then yours will have less. So it actually is a buffer for you and regulation. Mine would go to your right away. It'll, I don't know, heavy help, and then it'll go to your gradually by then the rush is gone. It's all engineers that make the buffer.
No, I know.
It always works out better. Just get a plan.
Okay.
Instead of just natural.
Yeah, that
It is right there.
Where's
Right there.
422 Jane?
Right there.
Right there. Okay. I just wanted. Oh, and
Is that the old Wilson house? Yep.
That's Leland before that, McLaughlin before that.
Oh, yeah. Josie and Rob?
Yeah, Jones and Robert.
Yeah, okay. I know exactly where it is.
So you're building down at the first two.
Yeah, the first proposal is to start, like, it's going to be 6 across here.
Yeah.
They're not until here.
Yeah.
So nothing's going to change so this is all done.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
But eventually there will be somebody in front of her.
And every person I talked to, I don't know go down that end, but I talked to people up this way, and they all it up to hit across pieces, and they just win. They freeze up their lines. Actually, this way, they don't do it because his house is frozen up every year because there's so much cold.
Oh yeah, you get a straight.
And the Rockland is the same thing. It's like all every year.
Okay.
So that issues with cold, freezing pipes, and cold water and cold connection.
All right.
Yeah, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Right.
But I've never actually talked to them. I've talked to them before.
Good.
People that are down the street.
Deputy Mayor Faulkner, and then we're.
Just my question is, Mark, I see the pink line. Okay, now that was prior to amalgamation. Once amalgamation came, and the whole thing is the town of Minto, that doesn't change that designation. Right, those are 4 country lots, right, as it stands
That
now.
could have been
Okay.
built on 100 years ago.
My next question is, if we want to extend that pink line to include those 6 lots, what do we have to do?
Well, why would you?
Oh, very good.
Well, it may make sense sometime to do that,
Yep.
but
You bet.
you'd have to do an official plan amendment.
Oh,
You'd have to do
Oh.
a comprehensive review and deal with the Ministry of Infrastructure.
I'm saying.
And
Why? Yeah, it's a good question.
if the population new projection is big enough, then we might be okay. But remember with the Heinmiller
Yep.
and Clark property, we got stopped by the Ministry of Infrastructure. Basically, they objected to it because there's enough houses in the county and enough houses in Minto that
They don't
it didn't matter that
places to grow.
Palmerston was deficient.
Yes, thank you.
So that answer your
I was
question.
afraid that was the
Yeah,
answer.
I knew.
It may make sense, but it's going to be a little messy.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
And for
thanks.
what value? Okay. Any other comments?
I'll leave it there.
Oh, you sure? Go ahead, Bill.
I think it's a logical extension
Yeah, I
of the
think it
urban
is too.
boundary, and
Yep.
I think we would, at some point, I think we want to accommodate the developer if this is something that council is in favor of. I believe we really need 6 lots at least. We're spending $2.3 million on that street, so
Exactly.
That's right.
we need the users of that services. And I want to be digging it up again in 5 years when someone does have the fortitude to amend the official plan and put stuff in. So.
Good point.
Good point.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Council, any more questions? Okay. I'll state, if you wish to be notified of the decision of the Council of Town of Minto in respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amended application, must make a written request to the clerk of the Town of Minto, 5941 Highway 89, Harrison, NOG 10, or by email at bwhite@townofminto.on.ca. If there are no further questions, I'll adjourn the public meeting. Thanks for staying around, Mark.
Stay around for a while longer. I have a couple other questions.
No, you don't have to. Trust me.
Can I go with
I
Mark?
have about 4-hour meetings or something.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know, that's what happened.
Need a
You save
motion
stuff
to
up.
proceed
Motion to
past
proceed.
11.
Oh,
We start at 7 and past 7 when you start at 3.
We're fine. We're not even close.
Why don't you do a motion to continue, just in case?
We don't need
Or if you don't,
You do.
council can get up and leave if they want.
Maybe we should just adjourn the meeting.
If somebody,
You,
somebody wanted to,
I'll make a motion, we continue.
Well, oh yeah, right, because we started at 5, right?
I'll second
I
it.
keep forgetting we started at 5. That's right. Yeah, sorry about that. Motion to continue.
got 4 hours.
Okay. Yeah, sorry guys, I forgot we started at 5.
Like a marathon.
Of course, I'm still on Winnipeg time.
Yeah.
I'm still on Winnipeg time. It's only
Supper.
I got an hour extra there.
I'd like to
Maybe
go
I'll leave
back
it
to the
order
feral
pizza.
cat issue.
Where is my next one here on my agenda here? I've lost my agenda.
Are you going to call that question and see if we actually want to
Yeah,
see?
you
Oh yeah. We had a mover and seconder, do we?
Yep.
Yeah.
All in favor? Good. Oh, we did that though.
Did you vote against
No.
that?
All right, moving along.
I was a mover.
Actually, if it's not unanimous, you are adjourned.
Yeah, everybody vote was unanimous, right?
Yep.
Okay. Don't be giving me a hard time.
You guys get up and just walk out.
All right.
Over.
Okay, let's go quick.
Where in the heck are we here? Okay.
Treasurer, approval of accounts.
I got it right here.
You
Treasurer.
have, appoint your,
Yep.
Where am I?
Mary Lou, can you take the chair? You have no treasurer, so you have to
Yeah.
run the whole thing.
I know, I'm just looking for it.
Oh, for crying out
I make the
Here it
motion.
is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Bridge. As Mayor Bridge mentioned, the treasurer did have to leave, so. Is he really?
Well, what was he?
You bring him food?
He'll be here in an hour.
of that. Okay, let's go to the
Okay,
next
because
one.
I
Public
think-
Works
okay.
You
Director.
really need him?
I know, I
don't
don't
need 'em.
think,
You
oh
don't-
my goodness,
They-
really?
Oh, he
is
brought
bringing
food. He
Oh,
did
he
bring
brought
food.
food.
Oh,
Oh!
he can come.
All right, we're not stopping for food. We're not stopping for food. Okay. Gord, you just came in time. Just on the treasurer's report.
Oh.
Oh, you're prepped there.
My goodness.
My God. Okay.
We're gonna be here till
We'll be
more morning.
We'll be fine. You're up, Gord. Sorry, I shouldn't. I haven't got control.
Where's the muffler system? Make it snappy.
And we're happy to introduce Treasurer Depp to give his approval of accounts.
Thank you, Chair Caldwell. So we had almost $1 million total this year.
Oh, this week.
I knew the first one.
Yeah,
That
this
was
is
the one I
2
could
weeks.
answer to.
Yeah, so under admin, we have a couple of very large municipal drains. So what we have there is we have to pay the contractor, and it's almost $200,000.
Right.
But the good news is we get to bill back all but $8,000 of that too.
Good.
And there's 3 pays there. So we have that. We've also got a major contract for our various streets, for Ann Street, James Street, Low and Walker. And that was about $222,000. And also about $13,000 in our first invoices for some surface treatment. And in sewer, we're doing some camera work. So we still, even though we have some equipment in-house, we still have to contract out. So it's about $14,000 there. And opening the pool, always seem to run into some kind of things for repairs that happen over the winter and fixing the solar and all that. And that was about $20,000. So those are the major ones there.
Wow. Hey, would anyone have any questions?
20,000? That's my only question. Wow.
20,000 for the pools?
Yep.
They
I
have a
would be.
line,
Three invoices. Even though we only had the 2 pools, but yeah, so they had to fix some of
I
that.
believe it was a liner again.
Yeah, a little
They
bit
have a
more.
liner in that pool, and it's unusual. Al said that they have a liner. One of the only ones he's ever worked with.
Right.
I think they're putting a new one in.
Yep. So that had to be done, and yeah, I know the pools always seem to have some
My
little
battery's
wrinkle.
almost
Anyway.
gone.
Yes, they are.
10%.
Okay, the recommendation is the council receives the treasurer's report dated May 30th, 2016 regarding approval of accounts and approves the town of Minto accounts by department for May 2016. Would someone move that motion, please?
Sure.
Deputy Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Mayor Bridge. All in favor?
Good.
And it's approved, and I turn it back to you, Mayor Bridge.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh,
And
that's
are you doing, we got Mike here for Public Works.
So if you think I can.
And you're staying up, Gordon? You got
Yeah,
you got
I'll
some stuff?
stay up.
Oh, tender, right? Tender.
Yeah. So this is one. If you remember from the last council meeting, it's under the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund. The awarding of the tender was due May 31st, but we got around it by awarding or setting up a tender award committee. However, even though we thought we rounded up, the winning tender came considerably higher than what we had thought. So, yeah, so part of that is due to some extra sanitary work between Inkerman and Maine. So in talking with consulting engineers and public works and that, we think it's a good idea to do it now because it's one of those projects that if we don't do it now, possibly within the next 5 years or so, we'll be wishing that we had, and we'll have people returning to the same area. So kind of reluctantly, we are recommending the full tender. I guess my proviso is now that we're into June and we're getting an idea of how the tenders are coming in, I'd like to revisit the capital budget and incorporate these higher ones and other ones and possibly adjust the amount of borrowing that we had planned on doing. But we don't have to do that tonight. Again, I haven't done any 2016 borrowing, waiting to see what the county's doing, what some other of our neighbors are doing.
I think the county will be not 20.
Well, I got a tentative yes from the county treasurer.
Yeah.
So that would be generally in the fall if
Yes.
we do that. So.
Yes. There's some projects we have in 2017.
I'm sorry to drag this out, but
Sure.
I got an issue with how we get to the higher figure of Hannon and Hamilton. I know Triton Engineering, they're extremely credible and all that kind of stuff. But if it's an error in the tender, why does that not disqualify them?
Just mathematical. Yeah. It's only a mathematical error.
Oh, it was just
just a mathematical.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Which they still came under. They still came under
Yeah.
by 140,000.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, you bet. Like that's
Yeah.
not the issue with me.
Yeah.
The issue with me is
They put in wrong amounts.
yeah.
When they totaled page 1 and 3 and all that, they came up with
Oh, okay.
1.4.
Oh, that's
It should have
pretty
been
simple.
1.8. So
That's careless, but pretty simple. Thank you.
sure.
Any other questions? I think we should be doing it now too. So just rip up roads again in 5 years. That's not the plan.
I'll just read the recommendation then,
Yep.
I guess. That the council receives the Public Works Director and Treasurer's June 2nd report regarding tender results for Jane Street and Inkerman Street in Palmerston, and that the project be awarded to Hannon Hamilton at the price of $1,813,988, which includes the added scope of sanitary sewer work recommended by Triton Engineering, funded from the appropriate combination of grants, borrowing, and reserves as determined by the treasurer.
Run.
I'd make that motion.
Seconder. Counselor Dirksen. All in favor? I was going to say Judy and that. I better formalize it. I'm getting tired.
We all are.
Yeah, it's a long day.
All right, we'll keep moving.
That's all we got, I think.
Oh,
I got one.
no, you got another
You
one.
got another
Well, that's all
one.
you got, Gordon.
All right, I'll leave now.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to defend the next one. There's no money. Well, there's money.
Yeah, there's money.
There's money, but it's already not it. Go ahead.
We're ready?
Yep.
Mayor and Council, this last report here is a resurfacing of Laura Street North from Adelaide out to the northerly town limits. This project kind of surfaced just to see what we would get for a price to do this, and it's basically a price to mill off 50 millimeters of the existing surface and then just reapply 50 millimeters of hot asphalt once again. Basically as a temporary fix to buy time. The developments in the area are still kind of unknown. Funding is still there's an opportunity for funding for this future project, and it's basically just laying it out there. We've had construction on Allura Street now from 2013, 15, 16. If we do funding again, it could be next year. And then with Allura Street in Clifford, we're looking at 18 and possibly 19 for construction on the major artery here. So it's just a proposal to bring forward to see what you would like to do, basically.
Questions?
Mayor Bridge. Mike, how long would this postpone the inevitable?
It would be, I believe it'd be safe to say anywhere from 7 to 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So it's something that's gonna buy us some definite.
And how long
time.
would this take?
Probably only about a day and a half.
Okay, I'm like
so it's it's not very intrusive, and the idea, like the reason for getting the quote from the company that we did here is they are the sub on the construction project from Arthur down to William Street, so they could do it at the same time. They're doing that other.
I like that.
Okay.
How's that fit into budgets and
Afford it. What's going on?
dollars and cents?
This construction would actually be done just under our regular operating of hardtop resurfacing. There is room there, and it is something that's been lingering for a number of years.
Sure has been. Yes. A lot like that. And somebody move that. Councilor Caldwell. Councilor Anderson, all in favor? Let's get her done.
Get her done.
Get her done. Okay.
Other business.
Other business as disclosed. Does everybody remember if they had any?
Yes, I do.
And it can't be IPM because you had like an hour on IPM.
No. It does incorrect. I just wanted to announce our sympathies to Walter Traxel, the vice chair.
For sure.
And his mother passed away at the age of
97.
So she a rich life, and so our extension of our sympathies to Walter Traxel. That's all.
Ron.
Splash Bash.
Yes.
This Saturday, the mayor and his wife.
When do you need us for that? What time do I have to be there? What time?
11, I think, is
11.
what we're
Okay,
starting
that's what I
at.
thought. Yeah.
So you're there.
I'll be there for the market anyway.
Yeah, and so that's it's a really good thing for a family outing and for everyone. In the afternoon, it sort of came on late. The Lions are hosting a half price matinee, and the show is
Wow.
It's Civil War. Yes.
Civil War. That's good.
So it's good for all ages.
Difference.
Yeah.
No,
that
it
is Captain America.
I know. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Civil War. So, really good day. I think I've told you all about that. If you've got family or kids that want to get out, it's all free, except for the half price show. And right across the road is the farmers market that goes. If you want to get there early and go through it, we had a really good crowd for the farmers market last week.
And I think Harrison had a good one too, and I think it was something like 14 vendor, like
just phenomenal to see that.
Everything's going really well.
Coming forward, but that's all available. We're still working on our falls. So you can have a look at that, see how we're doing there too. Okay.
Bill.
Mayor Bridge, my items were brought up during the public meetings.
Oh, good. Really? Oh, Mary Lou.
No,
but she wasn't on my list.
I know, and I just want, we said that maybe if we just have 1 minute, can we talk about the traffic control with regards to the construction?
I thought that was Bill was going to bring that up.
That's what I thought too, so that's why I
Got
didn't.
that minute, do we?
Mayor Bridge, I don't know, Mike, if you want to tackle it, but I have tried to communicate with as many people as I can and some people in the neighborhood. The detour in Harrison is working, but it functions at a very low level on Fridays and Sundays. The delays are upwards of 20 to 30 minutes. depending on when you go through there. But from what we can tell, it probably only lasts an hour or 2 or 3 maximum. It's not unlike what happened last year on my street, which was King Street, but we only had half the traffic there, so I have some sympathy with the neighbors because it's not fun when that happens. We had put the OPP on notice to have a look, and if the traffic was, in their opinion, a hazard, that they would intervene and direct traffic. The need is clearly, and everyone can see it, getting people off John onto Arthur. And what happens is the traffic volume is so high coming off Aurora and around that those people can't get out. Or it takes them several minutes per car. And when you have 500 to 1,000 cars going through there at the same time, it backs it up almost all the way to the 11th line or beyond. So we had the MTO look at that and whether we should put a light in or stop signs, a 4-way stop, and that their conclusion was that it should be left as it is. They had some reasons about trucks and how they can move in and out on that intersection. I think the solution is on the long weekend, if the road cannot be opened, that we hire off-duty OPP to direct traffic for a couple hours Friday and a couple hours Thursday, probably, and a couple hours on Sunday. But hopefully, if the weather holds, we are looking at the option with the contractor of opening up that road, at least for that weekend, with just a gravel surface to allow the traffic to flow directly through for the long weekend. We have not confirmed that yet, but I think it will be an either-or situation. Either we open that road up and it's safe to do so for traffic during the long weekend, or we investigate having the OPP there, because people, I heard the traffic, or Triton described the traffic as like cattle. If they find an opening, they'll try and take it, and as quick as they can, and so there's corner cutting and people losing patience and it's not good. So by and large, people are being patient. We've put some signs up. We've looked at it to death. We've had other people more wiser than us look at it, and that's where we stand.
I was just going to comment. It was actually beyond that. It was all the way past Hartness's.
Yeah, well, it could be.
But so if we did that, we'd have to think about dust control on that gravel road. And the other possibility might be, what if it was just one way north through town on the first part of the weekend, and then one way south at the end of the weekend or something? Still send people around.
Well, you maybe talked, but I would say we'd have Triton look into what possibilities are going to be on that, and with that idea.
Yeah.
I've talked to Paul, and I know.
And then on the other side of town, with the roundabout construction, I don't know whether I've ever seen a sign that says construction zone ends. This is heading towards Tividale, and then you still are required to drive 60 kilometers
I noticed
or
that
more than a kilometer, getting away from the construction. That seems very odd.
I was wondering about that.
Is the speed limit? I was wondering if it was permanently going to be dropped to 60 for that distance.
No, I can explain maybe that.
Okay.
Because you can't have 60 on one side of the road.
Oh,
and
right.
80 on the
Oh,
other.
of course you
Oh,
can.
is that why?
So
Okay.
coming in,
Okay.
it says 60, so you have to have 60 going the other way.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
explanation.
Anyways, that really slows.
Well, I
things
wondered
down.
about that too. I was driving up and I said, "Oh shoot, I'm probably
Oh,
supposed
I
to be
know.
60."
I'm
I'm
going to
driving
make a
towards
donation to
Tividale.
that, I'm sure.
Okay,
I can't
Mike. Yep.
explain.
Well, I just had a general comment about the John and Arthur Street intersection there. Me living right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've only heard probably 2 vehicles honk their horn at other people, so everybody is being very cautious and considerate for the most part. I believe it is working.
Well, and I think what has to get out there for the sake of us, the council, I know Mary Lou's been getting it, I've been getting it, is everybody thinks you can wave a magic wand and put lights there and all the other stuff. I had an engineer from Southampton say that you should put lights there. I'll send a note back to him and say, well, it's not our road. Like, he's a roads engineer, so he should know. But maybe he doesn't know that it's a highway because, but we don't have the final control. And it's not like we haven't asked 2 or 3 times. And we have, and Triton has. I've seen correspondence. So we've asked for that permission. They've said in their wisdom that we can't do that. I think all we can maybe do is that little bit of traffic control for those few hours on both those times. Yeah. And you know what? I've seen it when we used to have the light and everybody's coming through the light. The officers would stop there sometimes.
Still have it, yeah.
And they would basically, because there wasn't as much going east-west as north-south at a given time, and they would stop and actually at the light and do the traffic for a little while. But it would be maybe for half an hour, an hour. I've seen that on a long weekend. They've done that when they can. The problem is, as Ron will probably know, is if they have an accident somewhere or there's something happening, they don't have many bodies on it. They have to go. So we can't guarantee that, but we certainly have asked that. I'm be services again tomorrow. I'll mention it again. But the point is, we may have to look at another alternate. But I'd like to look into what if we have liability or anything on that if we put somebody there. But if it's OPP, do we have liability? If it's off-duty OPP?
It's
liability anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
exactly. Deep pockets. Remember, just deep pockets.
But anyways, it might be something we can look at. So, and I think that if that message gets out there, if anybody's watching, it's not like we have ignored it. We understand the situation, and we're trying to get through.
And I'd like to comment, since the light in Clifford and the light at Tibbydale, before that, I saw traffic stopped way out past Ivals heading north. And vice versa coming south on the Sunday. So this is a problem, but I don't think it's a big problem. People just have to be patient and get through it.
It's going on people's streets that never see it.
And I know it's tough for you.
No, I'm not saying it's tough. I've just been in it several times, and like I say, yesterday it took me 23 minutes to get from the Red Caboose home. That's a long time. And when you were saying about people being patient, they certainly weren't. People were not going down Adelaide. They were taking Louise Street and then trying to merge.
Around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw that today.
Somebody decided in their wisdom not to let them in, and,
the fight was on.
So then the fight was on, and there was horns honking and screaming and yelling, and it was not pleasant. But
okay. Well, we're doing what we can, and we'll keep monitoring it. Hopefully the weather will hold, and we'll get it all done. Moved by Councillor Dirksen. Second by Councillor Elliott. The committee of the whole convenes in the regular council meeting. All in favor? Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner. Second by Councillor Caldwell that the Council of the Town of Minto ratifies the motion made in the committee of the whole. All in favor? Moved by Councillor Anderson. Second by Councillor Dirksen that the bylaw number 2016-39 for the purpose of appointing municipal council members and citizens of the Town of Minto to an ad hoc committees of the Cultural Roundtable introduced, read first, second, and third time, and passed over to Council seal of the corporation. All in favor?
Bridge. I should probably declare on this next one. Just to
right, yes.
keep it neat and tidy.
Yeah, you've actually done it all the way along. Sorry. Yep. You got that, Annalee? Okay.
I'm gonna get to the fruit tree.
Don't go too far. Judy, don't
pretend you're deaf.
Yeah, don't go too far. Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Anderson, that the bylaw number 2016-40 to authorize the mayor and CEO clerk to execute a lease agreement with Murray and Jodine Marquette, Harrison Industrial Park land, be introduced and read in first, second, and third time, passed over to Council, seal of the corporation. All in favor? Does this mean he can actually do it now?
Not until his appeal period is up.
28 days?
June 13th.
Or June 13th. A moved by Councillor Dirksen, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, the bylaw number 2016-41 authorize the mayor and CEO clerk to execute the encroachment agreement with the County of Wellington, 265 Bell Street, be introduced and read in first, second, and third time, passed over to Council. See what's the corporation. All in favor? I think everybody said yes. Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Caldwell, the bylaw number 2016-42 to authorize the mayor and the CEO clerk to execute an amending development agreement between the Corporation of Town of Minto and Wellington Dale Construction Limited be introduced, read in first, second, and third time, passed over to Council. See what's the corporation. All in favor? Good.
That item is pulled, Mayor Bridge, unless you.
Well, that's pulled. Okay, so we're not going to do it.
Development agreement
Yep,
with
that's
Mr.
with
Mullen.
Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Councilor Elliott. Bylaw number 2016-44 to rezone 401, 411, 417, 423 Jane Street, Palmerston, from agriculture exception A1 to agriculture exception A113 be introduced and read first, second, third time. To pass an open council and seal the corporation. All in favor? Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why not to do that.
Not
So
sure
we
I
passed
understand what
that even
designation-
though he's got open items with Maitland, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
He
that's
still has
right.
to
He
do-
still has to cover all the other stuff, but we just
They
know
can appeal it if they don't like it.
they can appeal it, yeah. I'm 5% battery. Okay. Pacemaker.
Time to quit.
Pacemaker,
Time
yeah.
to quit.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, second by Councilor Colwell, that the bylaw number 2016-45 to authorize the mayor and CEO clerk to execute electric vehicle chargers Ontario Partnership Agreement be introduced, read first, second, third time, passed on the council seals. So we're all good for that.
For the bachelorette.
Oh, moved by Councilor Dirksen, second by Councilor Elliott, the bylaw number 2016-46 to confirm actions of the council of the corporation town of Minto be introduced and read in first, second, and third time and passed an open council and seal of corporation. All in favor? Moved by Councilor Anderson, second by Deputy Mayor Faulkner, the council of town of Minto adjourned to meet again to call the mayor. All in favor? Hooray! Well, that was a marathon. Just got it into 5.